if you just hold your money, because this is what people used to do many generations ago, was the idea of just saving your money. You save it. But if you just save your money today, you're a sucker because of this system, right? Like if you just hold your dollars, you're just losing money actively. So you got to be chasing interest. In order to just not lose money, you have to be chasing an investment. You know what I mean? You have to be like gambling on something. But just think about that, like logically, aside from being really good for rich bankers, why would you think for like an average, say like couple who's just like working and making money, they don't know anything about stocks and bonds and trading, exchange traded funds and what to invest in and whatnot. Why would you say that you should be working? No, you shouldn't be working and saving a little bit for your retirement. What you should be doing is gambling. You should always be gambling your money constantly. Isn't that sound financial advice? Gamble on something that you don't understand.
Right, and you've done no research.
Yeah. Trust someone who works on Wall Street.
Do you remember that time about a year or so ago when banks started failing?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Remember how spooky that was?
Yeah.
Where banks started going under, and there was a real concern that it would cause cascade effect.
We're very, very concerned about that. Yeah. In 2008, and they really set a precedent there with that kind of too big to fail kind of logic, where if that's true, that the banks are too big to fail, and then you bailed all of them out, and now they're bigger than they were then they're really too big to fail now, right? So it kind of perpetuates this idea that the banking system, and everybody kind of knows this, the banking system is built on a house of cards, and it could collapse at any moment. And if it does, the federal government's going to have to come rob you of your money to give to a bunch of bankers again. That's our system. That's our financial system.
Ripple will become its own bank, and it will use XRP to sneak into the banking mainframe through special purpose national bank charter. Shout out to our brother in the space, Smoke, for this one yet again. As you see here, Ripple will ultimately sneak this XRP. Yes, sneak it in. That sounds kind of crazy, but we're going to read more closely. As Smoke points out here, interestingly, there is a mad rush by non-depository financial technology companies, for example, crypto companies engaged in the business of banking. Ripple to Circle to Wise to BitGo towards procuring special purpose national bank, the SPNB charter in the United States, which would allow these firms, essentially crypto companies, to sneak into the mainframe banking while bypassing intermediary banks. All this with a stamp of legitimacy, triumphing over years ahead of alleged regulatory sidelining. How do you feel about this? And of course, he mentions it's documented below. He always brings the receipts. As you see here, top right, from SBI, and like it mentions on the top, crypto is not the king. Worse, it could get into mainframe banking. Here's the highlight on the bottom. Interestingly, like we just mentioned, what was mentioned specifically with Ripple. I don't need to read it again. There it is, plain as day. So at the end of the day, what does this really truly mean for all of us moving forward? Well, I thought I would get into a little bit more deeper myself, because let's face it, that is what I do. I want you guys to keep in mind some of these key things I'm going to outline here. Number one is the whole idea of why this is significant. Let's talk about, for example, the integration into what's referred to as mainstream banking. For one, the post from Smoke highlights what is referred to as the mad rush. Is this the crypto gold rush that we're all hoping for? Well, basically, it's by non-depository financial technology companies, and they do include Ripple, Circle, Wise, and of course BitGo, to obtain SBNB charters from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, OCC, and yes, here in the United States of America. It's a charter that would allow these firms, many of which are crypto-focused, to operate as national banks, bypassing traditional intermediary banks. This is a pivotal shift, as it could legitimize crypto companies within the regulated financial ecosystem, giving them a stamp of legitimacy after years of regulatory challenges. And for one, does this mean that Ripple is looking to become its own bank. Well, draw your own conclusion, but it seems as though that could very well be the case. Now, there's a regulatory evolution that's unfolding before our very eyes. For one, the mention of President executive order, I should say, of 14178. If you're not aware of it, it means by definition of strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. And basically, in a nutshell, the Genius Act indicates a broader U.S. government push to lead a blockchain and crypto innovation. So you're going to have a transfer of oversight to the CFTC for non-security digital assets and the push for regulatory clarity on trading, custody, and recording. Well, it just basically means suggesting a structured framework, right? Because record keeping itself means that. And basically, that also leads to integrating decentralized finance and digital assets into the financial mainstream. Believe it or not, this aligns with the post assertion that crypto could move from the fringes to the mainframe of banking. Is this why David Schwartz has recently pointed out that he's not even sweating the whole thing of having legacy banking and whatnot, because moving forward, that is not the future? Do we go from the topic of Web 2 to Web 3 even when it comes to banking? Think about that. Yes, absolutely. So as we get further into this, I want to point out it's definitely a strategic move by, of course, Ripple, because when you think about it, for Ripple specifically, obtaining an SPNB charter would enable it to directly facilitate cross-border payments using XRP. Yes, XRP, because that's the native cryptocurrency. Without relying on traditional banking intermediaries, wow, this aligns with Ripple's long-term standing mission to enhance the efficiency of global transactions. The post from Smoke, in my opinion, and hopefully yours, on quote, sneaking into the mainframe banking, well, that definitely suggests a strategic end run around regulatory hurdles, potentially positioning Ripple as a key player. Yes, a key player in the future of finance. Now, let's talk about the other elephant in the room. We mentioned this quite a bit, and that is the impact on the United States dollar and global finance. I mean, it's going to get brought up in the comments at some point. Maybe you were thinking about it right now. According to Smoke's post, this notes a concern about the United States administration's agenda potentially undermine confidence in the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, especially with the rise of virtual digital assets, which are called VDAs. And like cryptocurrencies and stablecoins, you have to keep in mind that if XRP and other digital assets gain traction within the banking system, it could influence international trade dynamics and the dollar's hegemony, especially when it comes to stablecoins, specifically pegged to 1-1 with the US dollar. Because as we know, those are mandated to be backed by liquid assets under, of course, the Genius Act. And again, think about liquid assets. I mean, think about the ones that are tied to on-demand liquidity, especially when it comes to Ripple. That's their main product. But in a nutshell, what does it all mean for us, and especially XRP moving forward? Well, for me, it means increased adoption and utility. Bottom line is this, everybody. If Ripple secures a SPNB charter, XRP could become a core component of a federally recognized banking entity. Wow. Think about that. Would they become the new standard moving forward? And it becomes a household name. Now, this would likely boost its adoption, would it not? And of course, have financial institutions for cross-border payments, which they could leverage its speed and cost efficiency. According to that post from Smoke, from what I gathered, there was a reference to the quote-unquote golden age of crypto. Think about it. Trump invited, on day 2 being in office, SoftBank. He invited, for example, the head guy from ChatGPT, but he also invited some people from Oracle, and they did all reference quote-unquote a golden age. So would that suggest XRP could see heightened demand as banks integrate it into their infrastructure? I think you already understand where we're going with this, which also brings us to this topic. It's the whole idea, ladies and gentlemen, of regulatory legitimacy. The charter would provide Ripple with a level of regulatory oversight and credibility, potentially resolving past legal uncertainties. For example, the SEC lawsuit regarding XRP status as a security. This could attract more institutional investors and partners, solidifying XRP's role in, of course, the financial system. Now, there's going to be competition and market positioning, but you have to keep in mind the involvement of competitors like Circle with USDC and BitGo indicates a competitive landscape. Is this why Dave Portnoy dumped his XRP? Well, pump the brakes on that, because at the end of the day, XRP success will depend on Ripple's ability to differentiate itself, and that possibly means by emphasizing its on-demand liquidity solution, aka the ODL. However, you've got to keep in mind from the post from Smoke, it's framing it all, suggesting XRP could emerge as a leader if Ripple executes this strategy effectively. I think they are. I mean, at the end of the day, are a lot of us in the space, especially retail, getting shaked out? Maybe that's the next big step towards liftoff. Now, there's long-term implications, just like anything. But should XRP become embedded into the banking mainframe, it could transform into a strategic financial asset for the United States, enhancing transparency and security in transactions. By definition, I think, personally, with all the research we've done over 4 years about XRP, this means that Ripple becomes the new standard moving forward for banking. So this could very well lead to a redefinition of global financial rails, everybody. And that would mean XRP potentially rivaling or complementing existing systems like Swift. For us as in holders, it might increase XRP's value, but basically speaking, you have to keep in mind that in conclusion, it's all about the significance of this development. And basically, this means it lies in its potential to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and traditional banking. With Ripple's pursuit of an SPNB charter positioning XRP as a key player in this transition, well, moving forward, everybody, XRP could see increased utility, legitimacy, and adoption if Ripple succeeds, though it faces regulatory and competitive hurdles. Well, that's not new to them. But in my opinion, and from what I gather from Smoke, this definitely aligns with the broader narrative of a US-led crypto revolution as outlined in Smoke's post and supported by executive actions and legislative proposals. Now, at the end of the day, this is going to lead us now over to this. And let's basically jump into it. I want to get into why this is such a big deal. Thank you so much for giving me a follow back. And it basically is Rob Cunningham. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think this gentleman was featured with Crypto Lulu a couple years ago. He states that this was all according to plan. Give him a follow. A lot of people are following him. He's over at KUWL Show. Okay, so check out his platform. But yes, I do feel as though that this was all according to plan. And as we zoom in, here's what's important. It's how it all came together. Area of emphasis will be on Executive Order 13772 of February 2nd, or 3rd, I should say, 2017. We'll get into that here in a bit. And I know that part's a little blurry and smudged, probably taken from a cell phone. But basically, it's the orchestration of how this all came together, the timeline from February 2017 to basically the present. So area of focus won't be so much just February 3rd, 2017. But again, what you see here, for example, from the White House, again, I'm not trying to make this divisive, but the fact sheet, executive order to establish the United States leadership in digital financial technology, as you see, January 23rd, 2025. And remember what I mentioned about day 2 when Trump was in office? Again, meeting with SoftBank, Oracle, ChatGPT, right? In reality, not ChatGPT, but OpenAI. And then the other key things here happening literally in August, strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. Okay. And again, some of these other ones, United States Department of Treasury, a financial system that creates economic opportunities, non-bank financials, fintech, and innovation. So from what I gathered, it's this other thing I want to basically mention just real briefly. Look at all of those visuals that are on your screen. When you do so, you will come to the conclusion that, especially when it comes to the top left, of the whole thing of Executive Order 13772, which was issued on February 3rd, 2017. Well, it outlined at that time core principles for regulating the United States financial system, aiming to basically empower Americans with independent financial choices and promote wealth building. Number 2, to prevent taxpayer-funded bailouts and foster economic growth. On top of that, number 3, to enable American companies to be competitive globally and advance international financial interests. Do you not see how this is all coming to fruition? And number 4, which might be the most important, to ensure efficient, effective, and accountable financial regulation. So for me, this is so big, and you have to understand why, again, it's so big. Because again, when we get more into the whole greater picture of things, you should come to the conclusion that yes, Smoke is right when he makes the statement that basically Ripple will ultimately sneak XRP into the banking system mainframe through special purpose national bank charter. This is how, everybody, that Ripple with XRP becomes their own bank, their own standard moving forward. So do me a solid if you listen to the entire outline and simply type in this key phrase into the comments, and that is Ripple to become their own bank. And I'll know that you listened to the entire outline. The saying goes, know what you have, know what you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. We will see you on the next one.
Guess who's back? But your husband's heart problems complicating. So the FCC won't let me be, or let me be me. So let me see, they try to shut me down on MTV, but it feels so empty without me. So come on and dip balm on your lips, fuck that. Come on your lips and some on your tits and get ready, cause this shit's about to get heavy. I just settled all my lawsuits. Fuck you, Debbie. Now this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. Little hellions, kids feeling rebellious, embarrassed that parents still listen to Elvis. They start feeling like prisoners, helpless, till someone comes along on a mission and yells, bitch. A visionary vision is scary, to start a revolution, polluting the airwaves for rebel. So just let me revel and bask in the fact that I got every once in my ass. And it's a disaster, such a catastrophe, for you to see so damn much of my ass. You asked for me, well I'm back. Fix your bent antenna, tune it in, and then I'm gone. Entering and up under your skin like a splinter, the center of attention back for the winter. I'm interesting, the best thing since wrestling. Investing in your kids is investing, testing. Attention please, feel the tension as soon as someone mentions me. Here's my 10 cents, my 2 cents is free. And who sent, you sent for me. Now this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. Just get a tasket, I'll go tip for tat with anybody who's talking this shit and that shit. Chris Kirkpatrick, you get your ass kicked worse than them little Limp Bizkit bastards. And Moby, you can get stopped by Obi, a 36-year-old bald-headed that blow me. You don't know me, you're too old, let go. It's over, nobody listens to techno. Now let's go, just give me the signal. I'll be there with a whole list full of new insults. I've been dope, suspenseful with a pencil, ever since Prince turned himself into a symbol. But sometimes the shit just seems everybody only wants to discuss me. So this must mean I'm disgusting, but it's just me, I'm just top scene. Though I'm not the first king since Elvis Presley to do black music so selfishly and use it to get ourselves wealthy. Hey, there's a concept that works. 20 million other white rappers emerge, but no matter how many fish in the sea, it'd be so empty without me. Now this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. Hey!
How would you like to earn an extra $100, $200, or even $500 a day, even more than that? I have many friends that are earning money every single day trading futures on BTCC. It's a simple process, and even if you don't want to learn how to trade, you could follow a trader on the site and let him do the trading for you. I'm currently following numbers, not feelings, so even if you don't know how to trade, there is a way to make money. But I suggest learn how to trade, earn you some extra money on BTCC. It's easy, you don't have to KYC, and you don't have to use a virtual private network VPN. This is a wonderful site. They've been around since 2011. Give them a shot. Also, when you earn that extra money, you can store that on your Decent wallet. The Decent wallet was not affected by the recent XRPL debacle, where the backdoor of many wallets was open and there was a breach. So Decent wallet was not affected by that. Decent wallet is as safe as you keep your seed phrase. It's a wonderful product, and you can get the discount by using the link. It's the only way to get the affiliate discount, and that is to use an affiliate link. So that link is popping up on the upper right side of your screen, and it is the one that you will use. You will also get free shipping. Pick you up a Decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on an exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today.